We are live. Let's get ready to podcast.
Fire it up.
Welcome back to another live and amplified Indie Fusion podcast. I'm your host, Tom Kwiat, and we are back at it again with another amazing podcast. Today, we have a very special guest joining us. We have Allison Asarch. How's it going today?
I'm doing so well. Thanks so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
I'm excited to sit down and chat with you. You know, I've always loved talking to Texas musicians that moved to Nashville. And, you know, I moved here about 5.5 years ago, and I see why people love it so much. So.
Oh yeah, Texas is definitely the place to be. Being born and raised there, I'm for sure a Texas girl through and through forever.
Nice, I love it. And so, how long have you been in Nashville now?
I moved here in 2018, so I definitely feel like I am a Nashvilleian. It's not one of those just got here peeps. I've been here for a minute, and it's the best.
Well, I mean, to be fair, in the spectrum of Nashville, 7 years kind of makes you like really tenured there.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Because I've been doing this podcast since 2016, and I've only met like 3 people actually from Nashville that are still in Nashville. So
yep, totally. My husband is a unicorn, born and raised in Nashville.
Nice. I might just have to talk to him and shake his head. Like, you are so rare, sir.
He is very rare. Yes.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So how's everything going? You got new music coming out tomorrow. So how's everything running through your head right now?
I've been waiting for so long to have this music out, and I'm so happy that it will finally be out tomorrow, meaning just one of the 13 songs that are going to be out. But this is the first of the 13, and this song... I love all my children, meaning all my songs. I love them so very much. And, you know, everybody picks favorites, but this is definitely one of my favorite songs that I've ever written so far. And it's an anthem about aging in the best way. And I'm just so ready for listeners to finally be able to hear it, because it's been a long time coming.
Nice. I love it. Because the last time you put out music was 2023, correct?
Yes. So my debut album came out in 2022, and then I released a cover of Hootie and the Blowfish's Only Want to Be With You, but I made it a ballad, and it's beautiful. I love it. If you are into Hootie, you should definitely check it out. And this album, I've been working since before 2023. Basically how I feel like with my music and how I want to release music is I want to get, because I'm a Swiftie, I always want to have 13 songs on all of my albums. So once I feel like I'm at that 13 mark, I'll be like, okay, it's time to record again, kind of thing. And so this album I've worked on for a while. We recorded it last April, and it's been done since last July. But like many things in the music industry, it's all about timing and figuring out who you want to work with and all of that kind of thing. And I was ready to release this song on my birthday in August. And I was told, you know what? It's okay to just take a breath, wait a little bit, get some, things rolling, and wait your turn. And I have waited for months now. So it's so exciting. It's so exciting to finally get this music out there.
Nice. I love, it's one of those things where it's like you look at the music industry this day and age, and it's like, yes, consistency is key, but I think there's also something to be said for waiting for the right time. And just kind of, I don't necessarily like using the phrase waiting your turn, because that's how you kind of get passed by.
Oh, but for sure.
Like the phrase waiting for the right time just feels a lot better. So
Yes, yes. And the song is called Better with Time. So what's better with time than to, release music now?
Yeah, absolutely. So with this new song coming out tomorrow as we record this, is this a song that you've been playing out pretty consistently?
I played it yes and no. I'm like weird about playing songs that aren't out yet because I get nervous in Nashville someone's going to steal my song, which obviously it's all done. So if they
Mhm.
were, I could be like, I recorded this then, wrote this then, you know what I mean? But I've played it, and I do get a cute little, oh my gosh, I can't wait to hear this. So
Mhm.
and the difference obviously is the song when I play out is just me and my guitar, and
Mhm.
then the song in the production realm and hearing it on Spotify is like just out of this world amazing. So
Nice. I love it. It actually, you brought up an interesting point because it's not something that I've thought about that often about, especially being in a place like Nashville, that somebody could theoretically just come in and kind of take a song if they
it's a
felt like.
thing. It's not. It doesn't happen as often as you'd think, obviously, but
Mhm.
it is something to always keep in mind when you are making music and stuff. Like, I know people who will be like, I wrote this song yesterday. Here we go. And you just never know who's in the room. And
Mhm.
it's not to say that someone is, but it's just sadly that's the world we live in,
Mhm.
and it's happened before. So I
Right.
know of definite like venues that people have played in that it has happened, but it's been a long time. I haven't heard it
Mhm.
recently, but
Right.
still, I'm like, I don't need that, bad
Right.
juju in my
Uh,
in my world.
No, I 100% understand. I agree. It's kind of funny though because back in 2021, or my buddy and we used to co-host a radio show out in New Mexico,
Uh-huh.
and we were doing this thing, and it was all focused on independent rock music. Like that was our focus, that was our jam. And I was doing like a cattle. I hate using the phrase cattle call, but just like, hey, we're running short on music this week. We need fresh music. And somebody reached out to me. It was like, hey, I'll send you this music, but you got to sign an NDA that you're not going to steal it from me. And I'm like, you have it recorded. If you have it recorded, you've got a written copy of it.
Right.
You've got masters, you've got stems, you've got all these things. But if you went through the effort of recording it, why wouldn't you copyright it? So even if I did want to like steal it, I couldn't anyways,
Right.
you know? And
Hmm.
so it was just a really weird transaction. And needless to say, I was like, nah, I'm not going to go through all this effort. I need like, yeah. So
For sure.
it was really weird though. But like from what you were talking about, it's like that makes sense because you're talking about at that point, it's proof. You got to find the proof. And if you can't prove that you've been writing that song, it's like, you know,
Yeah, no, yeah. And luckily, a lot of people that I write with, meaning most people that I write
Mhm.
with, we all kind of had that same idea that, this is ours, this is how this will be split, blah, 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 blah. And I'm very fortunate to have a really great community of songwriters around
Mhm.
me that I love. And in Nashville, too, just like co-writing in general is so fun, and a big part of it is just kind of creating that network and
Mhm.
being able to write all the time when you can, and finding those people that you love to write with, and then just consistently writing with them.
Right.
And here we are. But yeah, it's
Nice.
been cool.
I feel it. I feel it. So you'd mentioned that after the single, you've got more music on the way. You got a full project. How's that kind of process been? What was it about this song that was like, this is what I want to represent the full project?
So, backstory on Better with Time. When
Yeah.
I was, I think 27, it could have been 26, but there was somebody that reached out to me who said that they represented a producer or someone important, and they really wanted to work with me, but I had to sign an NDA, and I had to like watch all these videos, and I had to go through someone whatever. And then basically they were like, so we want you to pay $20,000 to work with so-and-so. And I said, I don't have that money. So that's not how this is going to work. And they said, well, I hope you do well, but country artists don't make it after 29, and hung up. And I was so livid, so upset. There are so many people in the music industry that are women doing this, not even, in the music industry, not just country, like all over, doing so well after the age of 30, aka Taylor Swift, but we won't even get into Taylor. But like, it just blew my mind.
McIntyre, like, let's be honest here.
Yeah, absolutely. Carrie Underwood, Miranda Lambert, Maren Morris, Lainey Wilson, Ashley McBryde. Like, I could continue going on and on.
Lainey Wilson is your primest example, because she really started to take off after 30. Like,
yeah.
So,
and no, for sure. And so, of course, that got my gears turning at 27, being like, I know I'm nowhere where I want to be right now in this industry, but I'm never going to stop. 1, 2, who are you, man, to tell me what I need to do as a woman? That's not how this works. And it just really made me upset. So I was holding on to that grudge and continued to, write, do everything that I do musically all the time. And it finally came time, because I just turned 30, that I was like, okay, we need this music out there. We need to tell people it's okay, because our world is saying that, when you turn 30, it's over for you as a woman. Not in 2025. That's not how it works anymore. Do you know? I mean, even though this is totally against my song, but like Botox, aging, all that stuff, like people, there are ways to make you look younger, even though I disagree with doing all of that. But it just blows my mind that people are still in the mindset that, sorry, you're kind of done. It's just never going to work for you anymore. I love that for you. I love that for people that, like, that's just not how I feel. And I just disagree wholeheartedly. And so this song is about things that get better with time, like your home, your childhood home. A guitar gets better with time. Wine gets better with time. Why can't women and humans get better with time? It just, why? That doesn't make any sense. So super proud of this song. And if you can't tell by how heated I can get talking about this conversation.
Oh, it's all good.
But I'm so proud of where I am in my music career, and I'm excited for what's to come. And I just was like, this has to be the first song that comes out. It just has to. So
I love it. That reminded me of the conversation I just had with my dad this morning, where he said something to me that just got me so heated. And I was just like, I have a 20-minute car drive to work, and he called me about 4 minutes in, and he's like, hey, Tom, this, and this. And I'm like, but it just went for 15 minutes. He's like, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
So, but no, that's really cool. Like, First off, I 100% agree with the message. And like the fact that this much thought and effort, and like in an industry where it's very easy for the music to be paper thin.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's a song I wrote, but I don't know what half of it means. Like you get what I'm saying. I feel like every time you play this song, you mean everything you say. And it may morph over time, it may not.
Oh, and that's the thing that I love about it too, is it's going to age, and it's, again, going to get better with time. So I could be 50 and one of my lines in there says, and I put on a face mask and I'm 30, just like that. I could still sing that when I'm 50. It doesn't matter. I mean, I was 30 at one point, but I think that people who are 50 could, again, relate to this. And I'm excited to see what people feel and hear. And yeah, it's going to be cool.
I love it. So are you going to do a couple of more singles before the big project, or what's kind of the release strategy?
Yeah, so I have two singles after this one in February, one in March, and then the album in April. So,
Nice.
yes, slowly giving you everything.
How does it feel to kind of be back out releasing music right now?
I'm very nervous, but I'm very happy. And it's been, a minute. So I'm excited to finally, because I'm very supportive of so many other artists that have been releasing. And I've just been like, oh, I'm almost there. I'm almost there. It's coming. It's coming. So I'm excited too, because the music is great. So I can't wait for people to enjoy it.
Sweet. And so since are you taking a different release strategy with this project compared to like projects in the past, or are you, because like, I mean, as hard as it is to believe, the music industry has changed so much in the last, because what's it been, a year and a half since, roughly, give or take, like even in that year and a half, the music,
it's wild.
Yeah.
So. No, it is insane. And I have been told and I have heard that the new way to release music is you do singles to an EP, then you do singles to an album. But the album is everything you've already released. And that's what an album is. And my opinion is, I mean, people are going to like the music no matter what. That's fine. But if you're releasing, people want to hear new stuff. They don't want to know the old stuff. That doesn't make any sense, but they're doing it because people have a very short, why can't I think of the word? But
attention span.
Thank you. Yeah. And I just disagree with that. I feel like projects should be whole in every type of project that they are. And I just, hey girls, let's up. My dogs are fighting over a toy.
Oh, fun.
Thank you.
At least it didn't get violent.
Yeah, no, they won't. They'll just make it sound like they are, but they won't do that. But anyway, so I fully believe that when you release an album, it should be singles, and then the album should have songs that you have not released yet and be a part of that. So my first album, I did a lot of singles, and then I think I had like 3 or 5 songs, I can't remember, that were just on the album.
Yeah.
And then I released a cover song, and then here we are again. So I feel like this project is different because I'm just doing 3 singles and then the album, which will have 13 total, so 10 new songs. And we'll see how it goes. But I, again, feel like projects and albums should be an album and released together as a whole thing. And for the next one, it'll, might be different, but whatever the norms are for, the new wave of music industry, I am trying very hard to just stick to who I am as an artist, and that is how it's going to go. The big thing too is I'm very much still an independent artist. So I'm going to do it my way until somebody pays me, and I still have, exactly. So
fair. The release strategy I am trying to normalize, and it is the one that makes the most sense to me. Some people agree, some people disagree, like it's free country,
sure,
whatever. Release the full project as a physical exclusive. So you take your full project, you release it as a physical exclusive, say, okay, I've got, keep printing them as much as you can and selling them at your shows, selling them all your thing, just keep pushing them as much as you can.
Yeah.
And then periodically release each song off that album as a single on Spotify. And you're kind of cutting yourself off, but at least by the time you get to the end of that album, okay, I've milked every red cent out of this thing that I can.
Yeah.
It's time to get that next album out because I have no more new music.
Right.
So
that's cool. With this album, what I'm trying to do too is with social media, every month I'm going to talk about a song. So by the time we get to the end of the cycle, it should be next year. So I'm hoping that by that time I'll have something ready, but don't quote me on that. But I want to try like that to talk about each song individually. So because what I did last time was, here's the album, it's great, love it, thank you, peace out. But every song is important, and I love all of them. I wouldn't have cut them if I didn't. So yeah.
Yeah. It's I 100% like, if you don't love the songs that you're cutting, then why are we cutting them? Like, it's you want to have that personal relationship with every song. It's not like back in the 80s and 90s where it's like you had like the industry revolved around albums and full project. Well,
Yeah.
for the most part, full projects. And so it's like, okay, we just got to keep turning this stuff out. So yeah, 7 of the 10 songs are songs that I love, and 3 of them are just kind of, okay, B-side fill,
Yeah.
But I don't think the industry is there anymore. I think in that way, I think the industry's changed, where every one of your songs at any given point could be a -- Billboard chart.
Oh, absolutely. Totally.
So it's a wild industry,
I know. And it changes every day.
It does. It does. So where do you kind of find? Obviously, you're up in full promo mode right now with the new single, and then the 2 more singles in the album and all that stuff. Do you find during this process you're more or less creative or interested in like writing?
Oh, I'm writing for sure. Not saying I'm ready for the next project, but I am definitely, I have been writing, and it's more or less because it just, just things are happening in the world that I want to talk about. And I really love my co-writers that I write with, and I have been able to create new relationships with other co-writers. So being able to be like, no, I'm available, let's write, has been really cool, and getting the ideas onto the paper. And this album is different from my last album because it's more storytelling-esque, I'd say, than most of the songs on my first record. And I love it. I love just telling stories and creating stories, and being able to work with amazing writers has been just like the cherry on top of working with amazing people in Nashville. And not just Nashville, I Zoom write with people all over. But I am super grateful for the relationships I've made so far. And it's just been really cool that I have the opportunity to continue to write. It's not like I'm just doing the album stuff right now, because I want to tour, and I do all that stuff. And then, but I still, it never ends. It keeps going.
Oh, 100%. I agree. How often are you playing right now around Nashville? Do you play every day, every week? Like, what's kind of your rotation in Nashville right now?
So I years ago used to play like on Broadway on the Strip, but once a week. And the thing with Broadway is you don't get paid. And if you do get paid, it's like $100 for 4 hours. And then whatever you make tip wise, you split with the band. So it's not really worth it unless that is your life and you do it multiple times a week. I have been traveling to Florida a lot. And I play at restaurants, and I'm still doing the Broadway gig, but just me and my guitar for 3 hours, but actually getting paid for it. So that's been, the best thing ever. And I mean, I still have to pay for gas and I pay for my hotel. So I'm really like breaking even, but then I'm getting tips as well. Hey girls, please stop. And when I come, thank you. Thank you. When I come to Nashville, when I come home, most of the time if I play, it's more like writers rounds and stuff like that. And again, you don't get paid for those. So it's trying to find a balance and trying to figure out how to make music my primary income, because it right now is not. And I really am hoping for that to be my goal in 2026. So, we'll get there when we get there. But I play, it depends. So like this past weekend, I played in Florida and I played in Nashville. And both of those were 3.5 hour gigs of me just playing cover music. And so my goal is by the end of the year, hopefully opening for artists or doing other gigs that are more music and money related, that are Allison Asarch related, instead of me doing cover stuff. Right. So we're slowly getting there.
It's one of those things where it's like you're trying to get your name out there, and I understand the Broadway gigs and
it's great. Like if you can do that, and I have friends who do, and that's amazing. But
I don't like the Broadway gigs. Seems like such a grind to me. Like it's like I've talked to several people that they'll play every day. They've got their residencies Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, twice on Saturday and twice on Sunday, and it's like that seems like a like how
it's first of all a grind, but also they are so just not take. They are taken advantage of so much. Like if they call in sick, they're gone. Like someone else can come in and take their spot. It is so cutthroat. And I mean, it's wild, but people do it and it's a good time. I did it. And my publicist told me as long as you did it, you can tell people you did it and you had a blast. And I'm like, you're right. You're right.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Nice. I love it. So who are you working with? Who's your publicist right now?
Pauline with Anchor Publicity. She's amazing. Love her. Yes, she's the best.
I've worked with her several different times. So I know her pretty good. So.
I'm sure you'll get my press release when it comes out.
Actually, it's quite funny because a buddy of mine that lives here he lives down in Bastrop. He has a project that's getting ready to come out, and he's like, I don't know, this one's getting a little attention because I've been in touch with the PR agent and like touring, like
of course all the things.
Yeah, like all the things, and he's like, the people seem really interested in this one. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's about time. You write really good music, so it was only a matter of time. Right. And he's like, yeah, I'll kind of keep you in the loop on all that. And was it yesterday or was it Tuesday? I don't remember off the top of my head. I got a press release and all I saw was Dustin Brown dropping his new album, like whatever it was. And I was like, wait a minute, my buddy Dustin? Like, and it was a PR agent that I've worked with. And I'm like, dude, why didn't you just say you were working with so-and-so? Like, I don't know her that well, but I've had a few of her artists on, but so. It's just very funny how
small of a world it is.
Yes, that too. So kind of looking forward, do you come back out to Texas that often or?
Well, I would love to. My issue is finding places to play. So if you know places to play, I will be there. But okay, great. We will talk after this.
Yes.
Please send me all the venues. I love touring. I love playing. I love doing all the things and out on the road. It's just so much fun. And I would love to do it more if venues would respond to me. It's wild how little people answer me when I am emailing them saying, hi, here's me. Here's my EPK. Here's all this. I'd love to come. And then I hear nothing.
The fact that you have an EPK is 20 steps above 90% of the musicians.
Thank you.
Out there. Not saying that most musicians.
Sure.
But it's like that's something that needs to be normalized. Like get your EPK together. So
a website, all the things. Obviously, we know TikTok could go away. Like you need to have a place that is not social media that people are able to know who you are.
Yep. 100%.
And,
the 18 to 24 hours that TikTok was gone over the weekend, I literally thought the world was going to melt down. Or at least the US.
Right.
I saw so many people like, I don't know what to do with myself. TikTok's gone now. And I'm like, you guys sound like a bunch of crack fiends right now. What are you doing with yourselves?
Literally. No, for sure.
So, do you still have a family down in Houston, or?
Yeah, most of my family is there, And my sisters, we are out. We all left. We're in different states, but we were all born and raised there. All my grandparents are there, and my mom's there. It's a big Houston. Yeah, I'm there for Thanksgiving every other year now.
I love it. I love it so much. How often do you get the pitch of, well, why don't you just kind of move back to Houston? Come on.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. They know I won't anymore, but because the thing was for me with college way back when, I went to school in Ohio and I sang opera. And when I was looking for schools, everyone was like, why don't you just come to schools in Texas? And I was like, well, then I'm never leaving. If I don't get out, I'm never leaving Texas. So I left and I'm still gone, but
Right.
I've been to many a place and love it all. But
let me guess, had you stayed in Texas, you would have either gone, let's see, I'm trying to play an imaginary game in my head of where you would have went. I feel like University of Houston is too easy of a guess.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have gone to U of H.
I almost feel like you would have been an Aggie.
Yeah. I don't have any UT or Aggie. I don't really mind either. Yeah. I don't really know. I feel like if anything, it might have been North Texas because they have really good music or San Marcos. But I mean, I feel like I would have probably settled in Austin and done well. And that would have been great. But no, Nashville, I'm loving it here.
Right. I have that inner turmoil with myself because I'm originally from Chicago. My sister, my aunt, and my grandma still live up there.
Okay.
Live in the area, but when I went to school, my mom and dad moved to Florida, and then there was always the discussion of, oh, would we ever go back to Chicago? Would they move? That whole thing. Then my mom passed away a few years ago. And so now he's dating somebody that's entrenched in Florida. And so he's like, I'm not leaving Florida. Why would I? He keeps telling me, he's like, you need to move to Florida. And I'm like, I'm okay. I'm good.
You're right.
Florida's not my home. I've lived there a couple of different times. I lived in Tallahassee for 2 years.
Okay.
And then off and on, I've lived with my parents after school. I don't have a job, so I'm gonna go live with mom and dad for a couple of months until I figure out what I'm doing with my life. And then I left, and it's it's not home. And now, had you guys moved back to Chicago and you're like, hey, move back to Chicago, we want you closer. Okay, you got a solid argument right there because that's home,
Right.
But now the pitch is, okay, stay in Texas or move to Nashville. And I'm like, okay, now we have a real discussion on our hands because either place would be amazing. So.
Yeah, no, for sure. And Waco is booming. So, I mean, you would be in two booming cities.
Yeah. I'm trying to set up this whole touring landscape thing because I feel like, and I've said this for the last 2.5 years, from Nashville to San Antonio, it is the easiest touring route you'll ever find.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And it's you could literally set up a 10-day tour and never drive more than 3 hours.
And that's the dream.
Yeah.
I am driving so much. Yeah. I tried to tell myself I'm not going to drive more than 5 or 6 hours wherever I'm headed. And that just never happens. But yeah.
For me, my cutoff is where I really start to think if I want to go is if I have to drive more than 9 hours.
Yeah. No, I understand. Because my drive, so when I go to Ocala, Florida. A lot. And I have family in Atlanta. So I drive from Nashville to Atlanta. I stay the night. And then I drive from Atlanta to Florida. And then I stay the night. And then I drive all the way back to Nashville the next day. So the drive from Florida to Nashville is the long one. But I'm done, So it's easier to do the 3 and 5.
Yeah.
And then the 9. But yeah, no. It just depends on the traffic. And it always hits when you're in Atlanta.
Oh, it does. It does. I hate traveling through Atlanta because the traffic. If I'm driving, I'm making sure I'm hitting Atlanta at 3 a.m. And it's like 3 a.m. I could go right through the city. Nobody's going to touch me. Nobody's going to bother me. Let's go.
Yeah.
But any other time than that, I hit like the drunk rush hour. I hit the morning rush hour, afternoon. Like I hit all the rush hours.
And it's every day because I'm
Yeah.
doing it on like Saturdays and Sundays, and it's
Yeah.
still there. It's awful.
It really is. It really is. Uh, so, what do you miss about Texas? Obviously, family and whatnot, but
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, the Houston rodeo, like top notch. Houston rodeo, I miss that all the time. That is a manifestation that I will play there. I want to play at like the little stages there, like so bad, so bad. That is my life. My childhood was the rodeo, and I mean the food. There's just nothing better than Houston food. Oh my goodness, it's so amazing, and I know everybody at all the places that I would go to, and I know people here now too. But you know what I mean, and it's just, that hometown thing. Just people always write about their hometowns and how they stay in them and so it's just, hometown stuff for sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's one of those things where it's like you haven't been home in a while and you go home and it's like those places you remember eating as a kid and they're still there. So it's like, it's either good or they're doing good business.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, these are the places like I've got like 4 restaurants that I go to every time I go back home or back up to around Chicago. It's like, okay, there's 4 restaurants I'm going to go to because they've been there since I was 7 years old. And so the fact that they've been around for 30 years, it's like they're doing something right. So
absolutely. 100%. Yeah.
So I love it. So kind of moving forward outside of music, what do you like to do?
So at the moment, like okay, let's not do that. What do I like to do? I love sports. So I really enjoy going to our Nashville soccer games. Have been really fun.
Nice.
I'm a season ticket holder and have been since the beginning. They did season tickets. So I used to go with my friends to the soccer games before they became an MLS team.
Yeah.
So fun. I love the Nashville Predators. We are not doing well right now, but we're about to hit that January, February spike like we did last year. So it's about to happen. So that's great. I love movies. I love watching TV. I love a lot of TV. I'm into podcasts right now, a couple of them. And so what I do for a living is I nanny and babysit. So I'm with children 24/7 and I love it. But I'm very tired, but it's amazing. And they're the cutest, sweetest kiddos in the world. So that's what I do to make the money
for
the music at this point.
Nice. It's, you brought up the Nashville Predators, and I've often told I used to watch hockey and stuff like that when I was younger, and I told myself if I ever moved to Nashville, I'm going to become a Predators fan. Yeah. Because of the whole branding they did a couple of years ago where they were calling themselves Smashville.
Yeah.
I was like, that is the best branding I have ever seen in my life, and I will be a fan forever if I ever move to Nashville.
It's so fun. And the games are really fun. When we win, it's really fun. But everything about it, it's a good time for sure. Yeah.
I'm glad Nashville also has an MLS team.
And our stadium is really cool too. We built our own stadium and it's one of the biggest now in the US, which is cool. And we are not doing well. Last season was awful, but
I've told my buddy this. I was like, I'm teetering right now if I'm going to stay in Texas or go to Nashville.
Oh, okay.
Long term. I feel like long term I'll end up in Nashville, but
you would have a lot of benefits being in Nashville just for what you do. I don't want to throw a pro and con list in there for you. Not that you would have any cons being in Waco. Like you're doing well. I think you would thrive.
It would give me a place to do my podcast.
No, for sure.
I'm coming up to Nashville in February, right?
Amazing.
So I'll be there for CRS. And,
oh, cool. Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I let me reach out to some of my people that I've had on the podcast several different times, but we've never met face to face.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I was like, hey, if I like go rent like a sound stage or a studio, a rehearsal spot to like record podcasts in, would you come in and do 20 minutes? Yeah, man. Like any reason to like actually sit down and have a conversation and meet or whatever, I'll do that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Sweet, okay. And I was like, okay, maybe I'll do like a 2 hour rental because I can get out of there under $50 and we'll be good. And then people started hitting me up, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna be there like 8 hours. This is gonna be fun. And I mean, I have fun. Don't don't get it twisted, but
Totally.
it's just like it went from something I was gonna do for like an hour or two to now it's like, oh, this is gonna be a whole thing. So,
Yep, totally.
but that's kind of the. I'm definitely looking at Nashville, but I love Texas. But the whole reason I brought it up was there's been these rumors circulating that I'm a Chicago White Sox fan. I watch baseball.
It's coming. Oh, absolutely. We are getting a baseball team. It is happening. I will say it in stone.
Yes, Nashville's getting a baseball team, but the rumor mill that has been circulating is that there's an ownership group that wants to buy the White Sox just to move them to Nashville. And I'm like, if that happens, I'm selling everything and I am moving to Nashville because I don't care. Like, I'm dedicated to that team and that team only. If they move to Nashville, I'm moving to Nashville. It's signed, sealed, delivered.
Yeah,
let's go.
Absolutely. Okay, amazing. We'll see you soon.
Yeah. Like, as long as I don't change the name, like keep the same name. Like I know Nashville
That would be
White Sox.
odd. Yeah.
Nashville White Sox don't sound right, but maybe like
Tennessee White Sox? I don't know. That sounds odd too.
Something like, but I don't know. So we'll see.
Sure.
We'll see.
Yeah,
but,
I'll be there. We'll be there together. Let's get season tickets.
How are the season tickets for the soccer team? Is that like?
Where we sit, we're like in the supporter section, but above it. And for the whole season, I think it's like $340.
Okay.
For the season. Mm-hmm.
I was waiting for you to say like $3 or $4 grand for the entire season.
No.
Okay.
No. It's very little. Yeah. But also I feel like they've kind of like held our price from whenever we started, but no, it wasn't. I think it was like $300 and I think it goes up $20 a season.
Nice. I love that. Well, we don't have a soccer. Well, no, we have the Austin Trees. Yeah. We have Austin, then the Houston Dynamo.
Yeah, and the Dynamos, I know.
And then Dallas has a team too.
Dallas FC, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like, I'm not driving 2 hours either way to go see a soccer match. It's just not doing it. So.
Yeah. It just was funny that it happened when it happened while I was watching them. So I was just like, well, duh, I've already been to all the games. I'm already a fan.
Now, were you a fan of soccer when you were living?
No.
Okay.
No. I studied abroad, I studied abroad in Austria. And we went to an Austrian game and like, they don't play well, but I'd never been to a soccer game ever. And they were so into the game, meaning the supporters, that I loved it. I thought it was so cool because it was so boring. It's just so boring. And it just really got me excited. And then I moved to Nashville and I heard that we had a soccer team and I was like, oh yeah, let's go.
I love it. Oh, that's great. It's actually my story's fairly similar. I was doing a podcast around 2020 with a friend of mine. She lives over in the UK and she's really big into football, soccer.
Yeah.
She's really big into it. And the World Cup was getting ready to happen, I think. Cool. And I just straight up asked her, I was like, hey, the World Cup's getting ready to come to the US. And I was like, World Cup's coming here. I feel like I want to start getting into soccer just so like when this happens, I'm at least somewhat knowledgeable, right?
Right.
And she's like, okay, well, here's the team you got to root for. And she gave me her team in the Premier League. And I'm like, okay, cool.
Who's her team?
Everton.
Oh, okay.
And so I just started watching them. And she was like, started telling me like all the different like players that had come through that I might have known. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm
Sure.
into it. And so now it's like, I feel like I need to find a US team to just kind of like, I, not that I'm never going to go to the UK because I wholeheartedly believe I will, but just to go there for a soccer match seems like a little bit of a stretch to me. So,
No, totally. But if you come to Nashville, it's a fun time.
yeah,
And we don't have anything in February, but if you live here,
fair.
I will gladly take you to a soccer game.
Man, I feel like the more I bring this up, the more I'm getting pitched, the more I need to, actually, all my friends here in Texas would crucify me if I moved, like just up and moved to Nashville without saying anything.
For sure. Well, you've
Yeah,
got time. You've
I
got
know.
time.
I
It's
do.
still super cold. I'd
Yeah.
wait a month or two.
That's my biggest concern about coming out there in mid-February. It's like, because last year CRS was at the end of February, and I was like,
It
okay,
was, yeah.
that's like the perfect time because it's going to be a little cool, but you don't really have to worry about much because I think it all passes by then. But now it feels like it's in mid-February, and it's like that week earlier.
It should be okay.
Keyword should, but the way the weather's been going this year,
We'll see. It's anybody's game. Yeah,
right?
we'll figure it out.
Right. Oh man, but the weather and sports podcast has made this life interesting. So,
Am I still? Yeah. No, yeah, absolutely. My light turned off.
oh, all right. Well, it looks like your light. I don't know. I saw the light change a little bit, and I'm like, oh, like because I looked down, and I was like, that's
I know what happened. Hold on.
okay.
Let me
Fair.
fix it. Let me grab my charger.
Oh, your charger went off. Got it.
Yep.
Got it.
Because my dogs decided to hit it. Here we are.
There we go. That works. That works. I love it. So do you have any shows coming up for the single release, or where do you kind of
Not
sit
for
there?
the single release. I plan on having a album release party. So that'll be in April, but right now we're just gonna let it be. It'll just kind of happen when it happens. I don't have anything for the next singles as of right now, but I know that I want to have an album release party. I have a venue in mind. I just haven't reached out to them yet. And I will probably after this, I'll probably reach out to my contact. But my management team, she told me, she was like, you should, do you want to do like a ticketed event? And I was like, no one's going to come to that. Why would I do that? And she was like, well, maybe, you don't need to for this, but this year you should probably do a ticketed event. And I was like, okay, got it. So
Let's do it. Let's get it going.
yeah. So probably by the end of the year, I'll have somewhat of a ticketed event. I'm thinking probably fall, or winter is kind of the goal that I have, to do some type of ticketed event as Allison Asarch. But again, we'll see. But
Yes.
yeah.
Keep me in the loop for that ticketed event because come fall/winter, I will be driving through several different times to go up to Chicago. So
Oh, okay, great. Yeah,
Yes.
no, I will gladly let you know for
Yes.
sure.
because my niece is turning 3 and it's getting to that point where
Amazing.
she's starting to realize that I'm not there.
Yeah, no, 3 is a great age.
Yeah.
One of the girls that I watch she'll be 4 in June, and
Yeah.
3 is so fun.
Right.
Oh my gosh, it's so fun. They literally know everything. They're so smart. It's the best. It's the best.
It's one of those things where my sister told me not too long ago. She's like, yeah, anytime she knows you're coming, she gets excited, and then I show up, and then she runs away from me. So it's like that tracks.
She loves you. She loves you.
Yeah, it's like I can't get you to come anywhere near me, but that's okay. Like I feel the sentiment. I get it. I'm not hurt. No permanent damage. But then my sister's got a second one on the way, and that'll be up in, I think she said the end of April.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, so.
Well, then perfect. It might work out well with my album release. You can come out. It'll be great.
Oh yeah. Assuming that she doesn't like run me off and say, no, you're not allowed to come up during the
Right. No, for sure.
do not
Give
do
her a
not do
little.
that. So I get it. I 100% get it. But I've absolutely enjoyed this conversation. We'll have to do it again real
Yeah,
soon.
definitely. We have, two more singles and the album to chat about. So
I
I'm
love it.
excited.
I love it. Have you announced the release date for the second single yet, or are you still kind of playing?
I haven't announced it, but I can tell you it if you would like to know it.
I mean,
Let me triple check, but that I'm saying that.
if you'd rather say it
No,
offline, okay,
yeah, February 21st.
nice. So
I don't know what song it is the only thing.
that's fair.
It's February 21st.
That's 100% fair. Oh, yeah. So that'll be during CRS. I'll be in town for that one. So.
Okay, cool. Perfect.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll chat. Oh, maybe I'll be a part of your 8-hour event.
Well, actually, I do have slots open, so let's offline that
good.
one.
I'm in. I'm
Awesome.
in.
But yeah, if anybody wants to check out your music, any of that fun stuff, where's the best place to find you?
Allison Asarch Official is all my socials, and just Allison Asarch on Spotify, Apple, Amazon. You get more money if you stream on Apple and Amazon. So if you have either Apple and Amazon, do that instead of Spotify. That's a whole other story that we would get into another time. But yes.
That's fair. I get it. It's just one of these things where it's like, Spotify's got my life right now because they just are better at podcasting right now. And yeah.
Sure. No, I mean, I'm a Spotify girly 100%. It's just they don't care for artists.
That is true.
Yeah.
there is an art, not to open up a whole new can of worms, but there's an argument to be made that the industry doesn't care about artists. Don't
get me started on that.
Oh, I had a whole.
Yeah, totally, 100%.
Somebody pitched me this. Somebody pitched me this idea that the industry is set up for everyone to make money but the artist.
Yep, so. That is the answer. That is the correct statement. Yep. Totally. Everyone who works for the label has a salary and benefits and healthcare, and everyone who they sign don't. So what's that saying?
And even on the independent level, when you go into a studio, your session musicians get paid, your co-writers get paid, your producer gets paid, your engineer gets paid.
Right.
Where do you get paid?
I don't. It's all for me. All the money comes from me. I think I have like 50 my last time I looked at like DistroKid, which is not my streaming source anymore, but I had $56 in there. And I think I've tried to withdraw it now like 5 times and it's not working. So I think it's just $56 I'm staring at that I'm never going to get. That's mine. But
you probably have to hit a minimum of some sort.
Well, I think the minimum is like $20.
Oh, okay.
So it's just not wanting to work, which is fine. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah. $56 I just stare at.
You give it 10 years, it'll go into unclaimed property, and
there you go.
Then you just have to look out for it and then file a thing through unclaimed property, the Tennessee government, whatever.
I know, it's wild, super wild.
That sounds like my YouTube channel and Twitch channel. I've got $62 on the YouTube channel right now.
Amazing.
I am literally like day by day waiting for it to hit 100 so I can make sure
that's so awesome.
Like, come on, we're almost there, baby. Let's go.
You're almost there. Hey, that's amazing.
So
that's great.
It's
not $0.
This is true.
It's not zero. People are paying attention.
Realistically, it's negative because I've put more than 60.
Obviously.
Yes.
Positivity, optimism. That's what all this is.
Right? I've been told I'm not very optimistic, so the fact that you told me I'm optimistic, it's like, yes, I'm winning. I'm winning in life right now. So, but 100% appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us. If anybody wants to check out your single, we will have the link in the description below, so feel free to check that out. And other than that, y'all have a good one, and we'll talk to you later.
See ya.
Thank you so much for joining us on today's episode of Live and Amplified's Indie Fusion podcast. If you'd like to support anything Live and Amplified does, please follow us on all of our social media platforms at Live, the letter N, Amplified. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, Threads, any of them, all of them, at Live, the letter N, Amplified. And if you would like to buy any official Live and Amplified merch, you can do so at our merch shop. Link in the description below. Once again, thank you all. Have a great day.